everybody, Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, and I'm so excited to share with you guys. I'm here with Shawn Delaney with Maximum One Realty. He's been so kind and generous to share with all of us his best lead sources, and we've just been chatting about them and where his leads come from, what works, what doesn't work, what he needs to try, what he's throwing away. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. So Shawn, thank you so much. I appreciate your coming on board and sharing everything with everybody.
Absolutely. It's one thing Dave's always taught me is to share. So thanks for having me. But, some of it's common knowledge and basic stuff. But one of my big lead sources and several other top agents in our company is past clients. And I'm guilty of this, and you might be too, where, you don't keep in contact with a past client. And all of a sudden you see a house you sold them several years later on the market, and you're like, oh, I should have stayed in contact. Guilty of it. So one of the things that I like to do is one of my menu sources is past clients, is keeping in contact with them, whether it's like every 90 days, making a phone call every 6 months. You can send them a CMA, with the property values been going up. Do you have people that bought a house like in 2011, 12 that, their value, they've got a lot of equity? Keep in contact with those clients. Several other agents that I know do birthday cards. They'll send out a birthday card with a $5 gift card to like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or a scratch-off lottery.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's just a way to keep in, and you build loyal clients that way.
For the lottery, my birthday's August 9th.
Okay, there you go.
It's so funny, Shawn, because I don't sell anymore, but when I sold, they always said, stay in touch with your past clients, and I never did. And then, so finally, I decided to pick up the phone and call my past clients, and I was so nervous. I just thought they were just going to yell at me for some reason. And so I had really good conversations, and it finally dawned on me, guess what? They didn't know I was supposed to have stayed in touch with them all those years. It was just me that felt guilty for not staying in touch. So yeah, that's really interesting.
And it's just one of those things, you want to stay top of mind. I mean, we all forget people, and even if you were the best agent and had a great experience, we get busy and people just want to stay top of mind. But another thing too, that's really something to think about doing is a client appreciation event. Even if you just held it here at our, one of our offices or something, or did a baseball game or a movie theater or a Christmas party and rented a Santa Claus for family photos. It's just a way to go up to your clients and say to them that, hey, I care. It's not just about money to me, but you're top of mind. And what better party event to have all your fans show up that love you and have them say, oh, Shawn's great, or, Dana's great.
Yeah.
So it's just something to think about.
Very cool.
And you can get your vendors that you work with and give business to help put on that party and make them part of it if you want. So.
What a great idea.
Another one, obviously, that we should all be doing is social media marketing, like Facebook marketing. There's different things as far as we've got some different providers, vendors that offer strategic strategies for that. But one of the big things I'm going to keep pushing is video. Like Dana, you're consistent with this video, so it's important to post things out there. One of the things that was just brought to my attention that I'm going to try and I encourage you to is on Google, you can go and do 10-second ads. You can actually go put it to where
on YouTube.
On YouTube, thank you. Where you can, pick the top videos in your area that people are watching and do a 10-second little blip in there that says, hey, having an open house this Sunday from 2 to 5, and then reach your audience that way.
Wow.
Another one is, expireds. There are services that you can sign up for,
right,
where you can get contact information. But what if you just went that morning, looked at what expired in your area, and went and knocked on their door and said, hey, I just noticed your property expired. And then give them your value proposition then. Not everyone's doing that.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more personal. They can meet you, kind of see who you are. It's scary, but you just got to do it. As far as for sale by owners, same thing. You could go door knock. I know Dave used to do, he had a big campaign with a box with a needle in the hay and all that. There's all kinds of different things that you can do. As far as with for sale by owners, asking them, when they're selling, where are they going? Maybe you can help them on the buyer side and then build that rapport with them to where if you're helping them to buy a house, then they're going to use you to sell a house.
That's a great idea because, sometimes the public, they don't really understand how real estate fees work. And although there's nothing set in stone and there's no set fees, generally speaking, at least here in our part of Georgia, the seller does pay the listing broker the commission, and then the listing broker shares that commission with the selling broker. So for an actual public person who's actually buying a house, but generally speaking, in the grand scheme of things, there really is no fee for them. So what a great strategy for sale by owner. I mean, they're going to move somewhere, so approach them from the buying end, and then develop that rapport with them. And just like anything, even if they don't end up using you to sell their house, they could sell it for sale by owner. It's just like you talked about at the beginning with your past clients. Well, who is it that that maybe could use my help? Not everybody wants to go for sale by owner. Not everybody has the time, or is going to stay home, or wants to be home, so I think that's a great idea, great strategy.
Yeah, and another one, there's certain websites out there that market pre-foreclosures. And you probably know which websites those are, but that's somebody that's in need. Maybe they've got it figured out. Maybe they're going through a bankruptcy, maybe not. But it's another thing where you could go door knock and say, "Hey, I've seen this show up on this website. Here's a bankruptcy attorney or a mortgage loan officer that might be able to help you." Just helping people. And then if they do need to sell, if for some reason, then you could offer them like what the value of their house is, stuff like that. So it's another lead source. And then an older lead source, open houses. That's the way everything used to sell. That's strongly coming back. And that's one thing, if you're not doing, you should strongly consider. And it's just about doing the open houses right. Making sure you have a big sign presence. And then having a strategy before then, like going door knocking on the neighbors and inviting them.
So making it like a party, really, like a get together.
Yep. And maybe even having like a food truck or something like that. And if you're like, well, I don't have the money to go and rent a food truck. Again, that's where you might be able to get some of your vendors involved and cover that expense for you. Other than that, one of the things I think that I've dropped the ball on, and several others might be as well, but one thing to look at is after you sell a property, are you taking the advantage of getting feedback from your clients and posting that publicly so you can show people, hey, such and such did a great job, or getting the seller to write a letter and saying, hey, this person sold my listing, and then giving that out to the neighbors, mailing
that's
mailing
a great
campaign.
idea.
So like rather than just hey, I just sold this property campaign, sending out, hey, I recommend this person, because coming from the actual neighbor that they all knew.
Yeah.
So other than that, just trying to hit some more here. One of the things is that we don't look at is agents to agents. Some of us get busy, go on vacation, or we just don't want to handle a certain area.
Agents actually take time to go on vacation?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
But keeping in contact with other real estate agents and building that rapport, whether it be within our company or outside our company, different locations in different areas, and building that network and relationship again, so that, hey, if ever, like, say I can't handle the moment, I know who can I contact. Well, Jill, she keeps in contact with me every week. I'll send it to her. Or, I just had an agent from Nashville contact me, and, we can build a rapport there. So it's calling on agents and agents in the past that have given you referrals and just thanking them for that. And again, keeping in communication, just like your past clients, keeping in contact with agents as well is another lead source that we just kind of overlook.
That's a great point. And also with all the new construction right now, another, take on that, Shawn, could be there are some on-site agents where those agents are not allowed to list. And depending on the price range, if it's a move up price range and somebody that wants to buy there has a house they need to sell first, that would be a great network relationship to build with that on-site agent, so that you could list their house that they're not in a position to list. That would help them be able to close on the house they're buying. And what a win-win situation. I know that phrase is cliched and overly used, but it really would benefit everybody, you, the other agent, and the person buying and selling. So that's another great strategy.
Yeah, and then you brought up another good point there as far as the new construction neighborhoods. Who doesn't like to have a new home if they can? And like you said, keeping in rapport, but also you should know your market. So you should be going out and visiting those neighborhoods anyways and knowing what's out there. And a lot of them will give you permission to go and video through, their new construction model home, and what a great tour to show on Facebook to people. And, it's not even your listing, and you're able to do that. And I know you've set up some different things with builders.
Well, and I think that would be great to show new construction homes on Facebook. And if you've watched my videos before, you guys know Do not walk through somebody's home that's occupied and video it and put it on Facebook for your buyers. No, 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 no. Don't do that. But new construction, what a great way. You need to get the seller's permission before you market it and advertise it per license law. But yeah, I think that'd be great. Another great way to get business and to help out the builder and just build that relationship.
Yeah, and another one is keeping in contact with your different vendors and professionals too. And one thing is, you know, unfortunately, there's times where people go through certain circumstances where they need to sell, whether it be, you know, through a death or a divorce. You know, there's certain attorneys that need help, or bankruptcies, things like that. So keeping in contact with those vendors is another lead source that you could get, where you're again helping people. So
what would you say, Shawn, are your, what do you, a couple things. Do you track where your leads come from?
Absolutely.
And so you do. So you know what's effective and what's not effective.
Yeah, every, you know, agent should have a CRM, right? And Maximum One does have some different things set up for us that they provide that we can utilize. And they always say, what's, you know, which one's the best one? And it's the one that you use, right?
Exactly.
So, you know, keeping in contact, and that's, you know, that's one of the big things that you need is your CRM to keep in contact with them. I'm sorry, I lost where I was going.
And what are, so tracking your lead sources, and which are the best ones, and do you vary where you put your energy or your marketing dollars, or how do you kind of figure out? I mean, it's all awesome, and it's kind of, you know, at one point it's like, oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming. Well, where do I start? How do you know where to start, when to change? How long do you stick with a lead source? Do you work several at a time?
That's a great question. And I think you should work several at a time. But the thing to start with is which ones works best for you. You know, some people don't want to deal with expireds. That's just not their personality, or for sale by owners, things like that. I think past clients should be an easy one for all of us because they already like us. They already know us. And it's not hard just to call them up and just keep in contact. You know, you don't have to even sell them and say, hey, do you have anybody you can refer to me?
Right.
You can just say, hey, I care, just checking to see how you're doing. Oh, how's the house? You know, just things like that. Oh, do you want to know the value of your house? Here, let me send you a market analysis. And by just doing that and caring, they'll do the other part. They'll send you, you know, referrals like, oh, I was just, you get in their top of mind.
There you go.
But it doesn't hurt though, too, if you want to ask. If you know, you'll know when you've been talking with your clients and stuff. So I think that all real estate professionals, past clients, should be one of their primary lead sources. It's the least expensive one because you already have them, and again, they're already your friends.
Yeah.
So that'd be my number one. Number two, you know, as far as I think, if again it comes down to money and stuff. Like obviously, if you have a budget of $5,000 a month, and you can go put it with some of those big real estate websites and pay them, you know, pay to get leads, you know, that will work. There is a rate of return. It is, you know, profitable, and that's a way to do it. But, you know, the sweat equity way would be doing open houses. If you have listings, you should be doing them anyways. And again, there's a correct way to do them to make them more successful. But if you don't have listings, you know, you can contact agents within our company and say, hey, would you mind if I do an open house for your listing? That benefits their client, and it helps you to get potential buyers.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't cost anything really to do that. You might have some snacks and some signage, but it's a very minimal cost. So your rate of return can be really good.
Right.
And then as far as social media marketing stuff, the rate of return I find with those isn't as profitable, but you still want to have that presence. So it's still good to market on those. And when I say social media, you know, I'm talking obviously Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. But then also too, just not to veer too far off of this, but all of us should have a professional Facebook page. All of us should have one for Instagram, LinkedIn. We should have a Google page. We should have a Yelp page. And a lot of people think Yelp, that's, you know, where people complain about restaurants.
Right.
The number 2 thing that's looked at on Yelp is real estate.
Oh, wow.
And then
I didn't know that.
I've been told that there's ties from Yelp into Apple. So like when you go on your iPhone, that Yelp is more utilized, and when, you know, versus Android and Google. So.
Well, I love what you said earlier about when you are in the middle of a deal, get a testimonial from that person. If it's a good deal, wait till the end. But sometimes we know they might have a tendency to go a little sideways. So especially like right after, if you're working with the seller, right after you get a house under contract, or working with the buyer, right after you get them under contract, you know, if you can get them at that point to go online and give a testimonial, or even if they write out something and you can post that on your agent website. And then if you know, at the end of the deal too, I love that idea, because I think people always like hearing someone else's experience with a service or a product. Like, ooh, where'd you get your hair cut? I love your hair. And they're willing to try it out because they see, you know, they get that referral from a third party, so to speak.
Yeah.
Love that idea.
And my favorite source to get reviews would be Google now, my Google business page, because that's a, you know, an open canvas. It's not a specific website, like a real estate website. It's one that, you know, anybody can go to. So I think that's in Google search is, you know, highly looked at. But I think another thing we should be doing is being in our community consistent, whether it be if you do once a week, do a video, and a lot of people are just like, oh, I don't want to do videos, it's uncomfortable. I'm sure if we were to go back and look at your very first video to whatever one you're on now, you get better at it.
You do. You get more comfortable. You just get to where you don't really care. But you do get more comfortable. Yeah. And video is definitely in all areas of business. They're saying video, you know, YouTube is the #2 search engine after Google. And if you're looking for how-to, there's a lot of products you buy now. They're not putting instruction manuals in there. They're just giving you a link to a YouTube video, because it can change and alter. And yeah, video is definitely important. And you can do videos on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can even do videos all over. You have to get used to doing the video.
Yeah, and the last thing I would say, I'm more happy to cover some more of the lead sources if you want, but is all of us should have a value proposition. And what I mean that is, why should they want to work with Dana or work with Shawn? And just think of, you know, one, obviously caring, but you don't have to say, well, I sold 500 houses, or, you know, I've got, you know, 50 listings, things like that. You can find why should I work with you, and that's really important that you present that to people out there. Is, you know, what's the value of using you? Like, you know, what do you have to bring to the table?
So I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
Why should I work with you, Shawn?
Well, one of the big things is I like to tell people, and I think it's really important that you express, you know, just caring, that I'm, you know, a person, and I'm not looking at this as a transaction. And I have to say this to all my clients. Hey, my goal is, whether I'm selling their house to get them top dollar, or I'm working with the buyer to get them the best deal. One, yeah, you know, I'm going to make money from that. But two, build, you know, a new friend. But then also to where they're so happy that, you know, at the end of the day, whenever they say, oh, I need someone that needs to buy, I have a friend that wants to buy or sell a house. Oh, I know who you need to talk to. It's all about, like, that they're, with the experience, want to refer. That's what we're after. And I think when you express that to them, they know it's like you're not just here to make the money, that you want to have that relationship with them.
Right.
That's important. So getting that across. I do have, you know, a resume where I've been with it for 15 years, done over 500 houses, so I can use that. But if I didn't have that, back when I started, I was on Dave Kubot's team, I was able to use his. So I'd be able to maybe use my brokerage or my office to express that. You know, doing some of these things that I just talked about, you know, keeping in contact with your clients. And you could tell people, hey, I work really hard every morning. I make, you know, this many phone calls. You know, I do these many videos. These are the things I'm doing the mega open houses. You know, you can spend money on like big websites and things like that, real estate websites, and say you enhance stuff like that. You know, some of the main things that, you know, like I say, well, you know, if you go to a hotel, you expect there to be a pillow, right, and blanket. But when you're selling a house, you kind of almost really expect that if I'm selling a house and I'm the consumer and you're selling my house for me, that there's going to be professional photography. But one of the things I like to do is walk through the house with their permission, obviously on my listing, and just do a video walkthrough. And it doesn't have to be high-end, fancy, professional. But it just is a real nuts and bolts, and most agents don't do that.
Interesting.
You know, they say a video slideshow,
right?
But it's just a slideshow.
Of just the pictures seamed
together.
Yeah,
moving around. It's not actually.
Well, and that is, you know, if it's your listing and your seller gives you permission, you can video that and put that on. What I was saying before is, if you're working with a buyer and you're going into someone else's house, don't video that and put that online. But, you know, as a consumer looking at a house, you would want to see, okay, I walk in the front door. To the left is the dining room. To the right is the living room. Where's the kitchen? So I think that really is, rather than like you said, seaming some of those still photos together, you don't really get a sense of the walkthrough. So
Yeah. And then doing the door knocking and the canvassing and things like that. Most agents don't do that, and it's hard work. You better wear some comfortable shoes. I've learned quickly that it doesn't matter how good a shape you're in. It's a lot of walking when you walk in neighborhoods, stuff like that. And then just strategic things that you can do. One of the things that I like to look at, and this is something I tell my sellers, is when listing their houses, most agents, when it comes to the appraisal part of it, say, oh, we're not allowed to talk to the appraiser. You can't do that. And that's not true. An agent can, a loan officer can't.
right.
And most agents don't take the time to sell the appraiser on the value of the house and all the features of it. I think every agent, anytime their appraisals come in, whether they're meeting them there or sending them the information in advance, should be saying, here's the comps that I think best help support the value, and here's all the features of the house that I think, now you can't be like, hey, buddy, can you hook a brother up?
Right.
But you can point out all the facts.
Right.
And that's
Great idea. Help the appraiser with his or her job.
And I've
also.
never had an appraiser get upset with me
Yeah.
doing that. Never, not once.
Awesome.
So.
Well, thank you so much, Shawn, and I can tell you definitely your value and your core philosophy and your core value of sharing. That is you in and out, regardless of real estate. I know you have shared a lot of these ideas over and over on our. We've got an intra-office Facebook page that you've shared, and you shared a lot of ideas with me and just sharing here with everyone. And I know for a fact today you got a phone call from one of our agents who had a listing that she was not able to service, and she sent it to you because she knew, that you would take good care of those people in a manner in which she couldn't. And so that just speaks volumes to the kind of person that you are and the values that you have. And I just love that you say, especially regardless if you're an experienced agent or a new agent, that your value proposition is you, and highlighting that because people are doing business with people. So, and I thank you for sharing with us.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I remember one time we had a team meeting here and they had like a bunch of the agents get up that were doing well, and they asked them all like, okay, what's your secret? What's your trick? And it was funny how all of them came on to, it was just about caring and being there for their clients. That was the secret sauce.
Awesome. Very cool.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
I'm a hugger.
There you go.
Thank you so much. And Shawn, if anybody has any questions, can they contact you?
Absolutely.
What's your contact information?
Well, it's Shawn, SHAWN, at thinkofshawn.com. And then I guess my phone number?
Sure.
770-378-7994.
Awesome. I'll link that below also. Thank you so much. Appreciate your
All
time.
right, thanks.